Before we begin, a quick favor. If you've been enjoying the podcast, would you consider leaving a review? It really helps others find this space and join us on their own healing journey and self-discovery. And if you haven't already, you can get your free self-led pause starter kit and my 25 free IFS guided meditations at exploreifs.com. Welcome back to IFS Meditations and Insights. I'm Tim Fortescue, your guide on this journey toward wholeness through the lens of internal family systems. Together, we're creating a sacred space to explore, accept, and love all parts of ourselves. And as we do this work, we open ourselves more fully to healing, connection, and living more from a self-led place. Let's begin. Today I want to talk about something that comes up for a lot of people once they begin learning IFS. At first, there's often relief. People start recognizing their parts. They begin slowing down a little. Maybe they ask inside, what am I feeling right now? Who's here? And sometimes they expect that once they begin approaching themselves differently, their inner world will soften right away. But often, that's not what happens. Instead, they encounter tension, distance, silence. Sometimes there's skepticism. Sometimes there's a part that basically says, I'm not doing this with you. And when that happens, it can be easy to assume something has gone wrong. Maybe I'm doing IFS wrong. Maybe I'm not self-led enough. Maybe my system is especially resistant. Maybe healing just isn't working for me. But most of the time, none of that is true. More often, you're meeting a very honest reality inside. Your parts may not trust you yet. And honestly, that makes a lot of sense. So today, I want to slow this down. I want to talk about why your parts may not trust you yet, what that doesn't mean, and how trust actually gets built inside. First, this is normal. If your parts don't trust you yet, it does not mean you're failing. It doesn't mean you're bad at IFS. It doesn't mean you're incapable of self-energy. And it definitely doesn't mean your parts are the problem. Usually it means your inner world has had reasons to become careful. A lot of us learned very early that painful feelings weren't especially welcome. Maybe no one around us knew how to stay present with fear, sadness, shame, anger, or need. Maybe the message was subtle. Don't be so sensitive. You're overreacting. Be good. Be productive. Keep moving. Don't make this a big deal. Or maybe the message was a lot louder than that. So now, even if one part of you sincerely wants to be gentle and curious inside, other parts may still expect something very different. They may assume this new inner work is just another version of pressure, another version of fixing, another version of trying to control them. You might say, I want to connect with you. But what some parts hear is, you're here to change me. You're here because I'm causing problems. You want me to calm down so we can move on. You're trying to get rid of me in a kinder sounding way. Of course, they'd be cautious. Of course, they might hesitate. That doesn't mean these parts are difficult. It means they've learned to protect themselves, to protect you. Here are some reasons why parts may not trust you yet. They've experienced you mostly as pressure. Even if you're trying to be gentle now, some parts may know you mainly through urgency. Why am I like this? I need to stop reacting. I should be over this by now. Come on, just calm down. That kind of inner pressure communicates something. It tells parts, you're only welcome here if you change. And parts can feel that. They can feel the difference between genuine curiosity and hidden self rejection. Sometimes we approach ourselves with what sounds compassionate on the surface, but underneath it's still, how do I fix this? And if a part believes you're only paying attention because you want it to disappear, trust will naturally be hard to build. Here's another one. Protectors are doing their job. A lot of protectors are not trying to make healing difficult. They're trying to keep the system safe. If slowing down has historically led to overwhelm, collapse, shame, panic, grief, or chaos, then it makes sense that protectors might intervene the moment you turn inward. Not because they hate healing, because they remember consequences. A protector may believe, if I let you get close to this pain, you'll fall apart. If I stop managing everything, things will get worse. If these feelings come up, we won't recover. That isn't sabotage, it's loyalty. That's a part trying to protect your life the best way it knows how. And sometimes the most healing thing we can do is stop treating protectors like obstacles and start recognizing them as exhausted guardians. Here's a third one. See how this lands. Your insight may be moving faster than your system. This one feels really important. Sometimes people discover IFS and feel immediate relief. They think, finally, this is it. This makes sense. I'm ready. And some parts probably are ready, but other parts may move much more slowly. Your mind may understand the model in a weekend. Your nervous system may need a lot longer to believe you're actually safe enough to stay present. Trust inside is relational, and relationships are built through experience, not explanation, not information, not insight alone. Your parts aren't usually asking, do you understand IFS? They're asking, will you stay with me differently than people have before? And that takes time. Here's a third reason of why your parts may not trust you yet. Your insight may be moving faster than your system. This one feels really important. Sometimes people discover IFS and feel immediate relief. They think, finally, this is it. This makes sense, and I'm ready. And some parts probably are ready, but other parts may move much more slowly. Your mind may understand the model in a weekend. Your nervous system may need a lot longer to believe you're actually safe enough to stay present. Trust inside is relational, and relationships are built through experience, not explanation, not information, not insight alone. Your parts aren't usually asking, do you understand IFS? They're asking, will you stay with me differently than people have before? And that takes time. Here's a fourth reason that your parts may not trust you yet. Some parts have never been met without judgment. For some parts, being seen has almost always meant being corrected. So when you finally notice them, they may brace immediately. Even sincere attention can feel exposing at first. A part may wonder, are you here to shame me? Are you going to decide I'm too much? Will you leave if I show you how bad this really feels? When that happens, the invitation isn't to push harder, it's to recognize the fear in the room, to realize a lot is happening inside right now. Sometimes healing begins not with breakthrough, but simply with respecting how cautious the system has needed to become. So let's look for a bit at what trust actually looks like inside. I think sometimes we imagine trust as one huge emotional breakthrough. A part suddenly opens up, everything softens, you cry, there's immediate relief. And yes, sometimes meaningful moments happen that way, but more often trust grows quietly. A part lets you notice it for 5 seconds without shutting down. A critic softens enough for you to sense the fear underneath. An anxious manager pauses for one breath. A reactive part still shows up, but there's a little more space around it this time. That matters. A drop of self is enough. Trust often begins when a part realizes, you're not here to argue with me. You're not trying to overpower me. You're not embarrassed by me. You're not trying to rush past me to become more healed or more spiritual. You're actually willing to stay. And that kind of experience changes things slowly, gently, relationally. So, what do you do when your parts don't trust you yet? First, tell the truth. Instead of pretending trust is there when it isn't, gently acknowledge what's actually true. You might say inside, something in me doesn't trust me yet. That makes sense. I'm not going to force this. That honesty alone can feel regulating because now you're no longer trying to manufacture an experience. You're relating to what's real. Second, drop the agenda. If you notice yourself trying to get calm, get healed, get clarity, get unblended, get inside or get somewhere, just notice that. No shame. But if a part senses your presence is conditional on progress, trust will be hard to build. Try saying instead, I'm here to listen. I'm not trying to make anything happen right now. Sometimes that changes the whole atmosphere inside. Third, appreciate protectors explicitly. A lot of protectors have been working incredibly hard for a very long time without acknowledgement. If you meet a skeptical part, critical part, an avoidant part, a controlling part, see if you can begin here. I can see you're trying to help. I may not fully understand you yet, but I can see there's a reason you do this. Thank you for working so hard. Not as a technique, as a genuine recognition. Something inside you has been trying to protect your life. Fourth, keep the moment small. You don't have to force long inner conversations. 5 seconds of honest presence may do more than 20 minutes of pushing. That's why I come back again and again to simple practices. Pause. Notice. Name. Meet. Respond. Or even more simply, I'm here. Who's here? I can be with who's here. That may be enough for today. 5. Let consistency do the work. Trust grows when parts begin experiencing you differently over time. Not once, not because you read another book, but because again and again you show up differently, without contempt, without rushing, without abandoning yourself. You show up and stay human, and eventually some part notices, oh, you're still here. That matters more than most people realize. So here's a gentle reframe. If your parts don't trust you yet, try not to hear that as rejection. Try hearing it as information. It tells you something about what your inner world has lived through. It tells you how careful your system is needed to become. And it offers you an opportunity to become trustworthy in a new way. Honestly, I think that's sacred work. Maybe not flashy, not fast, not performative, just real. You do not earn your part's trust by becoming perfect. You earn trust by becoming present, by telling the truth, by not forcing, by learning how to stay. So maybe today, instead of asking, why won't my parts trust me? You might gently ask, what might make sense about their caution? How have I approached myself in the past? What would it feel like to meet myself with less urgency and more companionship? Just notice what's happening with those questions. Nothing has gone wrong inside you. If trust isn't there yet, that's okay. You can begin here, one small, honest moment at a time. That wraps up another episode of IFS Meditations and Insights. If today's episode was meaningful to you, please follow, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need it. A positive review really does help more people find this healing work. And don't forget, you can get your Self-Led Pause Starter Kit and free IFS meditations at exploreifs.com. And until the next session, be gentle with yourself, and I'll try to do the same, because we are beloved human beings.